Hi everyone. So I want to talk to you about nature study and how we do nature study in our house. Very simply, we don't overcomplicate. And I know myself, if I did, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do nature study at all. So we pretty much focus on what's going on around us. As you can hear, birds are abundant here. So I live in New Hampshire. And we have a lot growing here naturally, but we also grow our own flowers and some of our own food, which I'll show you here. So pretty much when I walk outside my house, this is a little preview. I'll show you a little bit more up close. In the back there, you can see a little rose bush. So I'm gonna flip this camera around and take you on a little tour of my front yard. And so we just try to pretty much plant a few new things every year. And that way we get to learn little by little about the different flowers that we can grow, what they look like as they're growing from seed, what they look like when they're about to bloom, which flowers close up at night, because some do that, and just the different characteristics, which ones grow back every year and which ones spread really easily, that kind of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around and take you on a little tour. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so this is our front patio. My daughter picked these petunias out. We repotted them and we've been taking care of them. They're so pretty. She wanted them in a spot where she could see them from her bedroom window. We have two different kinds of tomatoes here in pots, and they're growing, a lot of them. It's very exciting. So we have 4 different plants and they're 4 different varieties. So we'll see what we get. We grow basil because we like to make our own pesto. These are California poppies. They're so cool. My husband's uncle gave us some flower seed packets for Easter. It was so nice. And these were in it. So we've never grown these before. We grew these from seed. We planted them right into the soil and they're beautiful. And they actually don't need a lot of water once they bloom. He also gave us these seeds. I believe they're marigolds. And we planted them as seeds. They're growing really well. And I think they would be flowering by now, but I think that the animals that we have around here are eating the buds. So we haven't had anything grow. Yeah, I can just tell. Like here, you see, they're bitten off. So I think that's what's happening. This is called, my mother-in-law gave us these and they're extremely hardy. They're really cool. She told me they're called hens and chickens. So I don't know if that's like the proper term, but that is what she told us they're called. Over here, we're growing roses. We bought this from Aldi, of all places, and it's growing really beautifully. This is right outside our big window that has our, like, that's like our living room. So we have chairs right in front and we can see these from there. Now we have some wild black-eyed Susans growing. Take you over here. We have some pear trees. We have 3 pear trees. They're doing pretty well. This one's doing the best. You can see a lot of them already getting pretty big. That's really cool. Okay, so going down our front walkway here, we have these. These are called daylilies. And back here, this crazy tall thing is called milkweed. And we grew that from seed also. Yep, we grew those from seed. They're supposed to be really good pollinators. Okay, so we have a lot of the orange daylilies. Back here, these white ones, those are, I think, called true lilies. It's hard to see them on here, but they're really pretty. And they grow in this really funny downward angle. So then we have these purple flowers. My daughter's here with me. She wants to tell you about them. Go ahead, honey.
They are called balloon flowers. My brother keeps popping all of them.
Yeah, he does.
But
see these, because it's, yep, this is before they bloom. This is literally right before it blooms. And this would be after it bloomed. We ask him not to pop them, but sometimes he does it anyway. Let's see. So this is going down. And we just kind of have some like random weeds and stuff like that. But we try to plant new things in this area. And these balloon flowers have spread like crazy. And we think they're really pretty. We actually have 3 apple trees. We've had them for over 5 years and we've never had apples, sadly. We had 1 apple growing on this middle one and it grew to be about the size of a grape and then it fell off. So we're still waiting on that. This huge plant is 1 plant actually. It is a butternut squash and I'm very hopeful about this. It looks really good. You can see inside, there's a lot of little things that are going to blossom. And so I'm really hopeful that we'll get some of those. This is our strawberry patch. The first couple years we had it produced really well. In recent years, it hasn't done so well. And I think perhaps I need to fertilize. I think the soil is a bit depleted of nutrients. And yeah, I need to fertilize. So over here's our flower bed. So we have more marigolds over here, which I planted this spring from seed. Luckily the animals haven't gotten here because I think that's going to bloom. These are morning glories. These grow back every year. We only have 1 bloom right now. It's a little bit closed up. In the morning, it's open. And they like to wrap around things. So I'm trying to train them to go around these 2 loops so that they don't kind of choke out these plants here. This is also tomatoes. And these are like the bigger kind. You can see we have a lot growing in here. Let's see if I can kind of show you, if you can see a couple in there. These are Roma tomatoes. Okay, in there. There we go. So we got a bunch on both plants here. Okay, and then we have 6 blueberry plants, and those are what are under the nets. We have to net them, otherwise the birds will eat them. And I think that's what happened with this middle one. I didn't net them early enough, but I took a net off so I could show you that we have a bunch growing, but they're not ripe yet at all. So we have to wait for that. And we actually get a lot. So our blueberry bushes do very well and we get a lot. So yeah, during peak season, we can come out here and off of our 6 bushes, we can pick maybe like a cup per day. So we love that. So I'll back up and give you kind of a little overview of the yard. This is the front yard. Normally people would have a kind of like a backyard garden, but we choose to have it in our front yard because that's where we get a lot of sun. And my daughter also wanted to show you about her petunia plant. Yeah, go ahead.
These are petunias. They're pink, pretty flowers. We've had them before, but we saw them a long time ago at a flower place, and I wanted to get it. And my mama let
Yeah, I usually let them pick out one flower plant per spring so that we get to plant new ones every year. Some grow back and some do not. So there you have it. We try to do nature study up close and hands-on with what grows locally in our area. We do have a lot of wildflowers that grow around here and abundant trees. It's very wooded here. And so, especially in the fall time, that's a great time to kind of study the leaves and the bark, and identify the kinds of trees that grow in your area. So I wanted to mention I have 2 apps that really help us learn the things in our area. So one of them is called Seek, and that identifies flowers and plants. And so it's helped me identify some wildflowers that have been growing here pretty prevalently this summer that I didn't know what they were. And so that's been really cool. And then I have an app called Merlin. I think it's called Merlin Bird ID. I will make sure to put it here, just double check. That has been amazing. It tells you what kind of bird by the bird call. So you could sit outside in your yard and have the app open, and it will identify all the birds that it's hearing their sound. So that's been really cool too, because I knew a few birds by sight, but I didn't know them by sound. And so I'm learning that, and so is my husband and my kids. And we're just getting more and more into birds lately. And yeah, one time my son was out here, and in a 30-minute time span, there were 20 birds that were picked up and identified. So 20, just right in our area. And that was pretty eye-opening. I didn't really realize that there were that many around. And we've also been reading through the Burgess Bird Book for children with my 2 youngest kids. They're 6 and 4. And so, yeah, we're just kind of all about the birds lately. And it's all kind of coming together. And that's pretty much how we are approaching nature study. So I wanted to share that. So if anyone is wondering how someone might be doing it without a whole lot of extras and a whole lot of like having to pack up children and like go somewhere, and if you live somewhere where you can just step outside, that's extremely helpful. And if you don't, there are resources for you. The internet is actually pretty great if you aren't able to step outside and have a lot of wildlife right in your yard. If any questions, as always, feel free to leave them below. And thank you for watching. I had one more thing to add. Why we like to plant things in our own yard is because it invites the wildlife to it. It invites a lot of birds to our yard, and we watch them from our front window, and we even have hummingbirds. And when I stepped outside today to film this, a hummingbird actually flew by, and it was so cool. So if you can plant a few things in a spot where either you sit outside often, or you can see it from inside your house, you're probably going to be able to see some birds up close and personal.